seconds to go, and once again, we had a Race the World Stage 4. This is a Glasgow race, and I'm gonna let you up know up front. This Glasgow thing, this one and the Volcano Flat race are built for me. I know it has 2 Humpty Hump hills, but everything out there Humpty Hump hills, no matter what it is, it's, for me, it's considered a downhill the whole way around to the finish line again. So this race is really cool for me. We had 3, 2, 1, and we're off. Now in this race, I started off, I put the power in so I could keep up the pack. That's mostly what I was planning to do with this race. Was I know this race like the back of my hand. I know when I gotta make a left, when I gotta make a right. So with this race, I decided that I was gonna have certain metrics I was gonna try to meet with this one. First metric I had was I was gonna try to keep myself around 300, less than 350 for the first 2 laps, which I kind of did, but I kind of didn't, because the group I was with were kind of pushing me up towards like 370, just under 400, which wasn't an issue. If you look over me at my picture as I'm riding the bike, you can see that I'm not really stressed out, and I'm not going to be stressed out pretty much the whole race. I think my heart rate averaged out at about 146 beats a minute, which I'm starting to get to the point where I'm lowering it down as I race. I'm learning to calm down. The techniques of learning how to race is cool, because I've never known how to do this. This is my wife says I love competition. For a guy who's a big guy who tries to do a lot of stuff, I love competition. I really am into the competition part of these races. So as I come around this first turn here, we're at 0.2 in, less than a quarter in. I come around and I know that I'm just gonna try. I'm not trying to. This is not more or less a lead the pack race. This is more or less find a groove. I know as I get better at racing, I'm going to have to find a groove where I can sustain a certain amount of pedal or power, but not overexert myself, but still be at a competitive rate as I'm moving. So since I know Glasgow, I know that winning will be fun, but it's not the main focus of this race. The main focus of this race was to see if I can maintain a steady speed. If you notice up in the corner, I'm 73, 75 pedals a minute. I think I pretty much, outside of them 2 lumpy lump hills, I call them lumpy hills. Somebody can give me another suggestion of what to call them. But I know when I come around this corner, I go up the 2 hills. And once I get to the second hill and I come over it, I know it's a flat coming down around. It's a nice little run. So what I'm trying to do here is just keep a steady pace. I'm at 350, so I brought it down. My goal was to stay under 350 for those 2 laps. The second lap, stay under 400. And the last lap, everything should be over 400. So that's why I was going with it, so that I can kind of accelerate my pace, but not doing it while I'm killing myself. And I figured once I got to that last lap, even though I'm going over 400 forward, I'm not killing myself. If you've never noticed, if you watch my earlier races, this makes race number 40. So if you watch all my other races outside of the last, let's give it the last 7, this kind of race, the whole race for me would be 500, 450, 500, I would be exhausted by the end of the race. I'm not doing that anymore. Now I hit the little shadow here, but the thing is, on this race, I know I need feathers, and I know when to hit them. So if this thing gives me a feather like it does, what I do is I hold a feather. I don't take a chance. I hold a feather. Plus, I don't need it on the other end of this, because for me, on the other end of this, when I go in this archway right here, that's all the way around to the finish line is considered a downhill for me. And you'll see why as I go over there around this corner. I'm going to accelerate almost about 30 miles an hour, and that 30 miles an hour pretty much pushes me all the way to the finish line. Literally, I don't have to really kill myself. You notice my wattage coming down, my pedals coming down. I'm at 31, 32. My weight literally does the work for me all the way to the finish line. Even coming around into this hill right here, I know this race, I know I'm gonna come down this hill. Now I got the lumpy lumps. Each lumpy lump don't take too much weight from me, but they're going down at the other end of the lumpy lump, as long as I just keep the pedals rolling, I stay at 26, 27 miles an hour, and I look down, and you can see I'm on at 1.8, 1.9, but I'm doing 28 miles an hour. The guys behind me are doing 2.6, 3.1, 4.0. They're doing that to keep up with me. So in essence, they're tiring themselves out trying to keep up with me. When you look at me, I'm actually catching a breath now. So I don't have to really hurt myself. when I come around these hills like this and just, I don't accelerate hard. I'm at 1.7, 300 watts, 280 watts. I'm mostly letting my weight do all the work for me. If we on a small Swift Insider race, you would notice that if we have a hill like that, it could be devastating for me on a short race, because there is no really isn't no come down and come around. Now, if they do a Swift Tiny race on this, I promise you, y'all will see I'm gonna push. If it's just one lap and it's a race like this on a Swift Tiny, if I ever get one of these and there's a Glasso like this, I will push all out from the beginning to the end to see how fast I can do it. So I've never really done that before, but that's one thing I would do if we ever got a Swift Insider with this one. I would push it as hard as I could. As we come around here, we come around to the end right here at the final where we turn the turn. And like I've stated before, flats are my friends, because as I build up speed, all I gotta do is just slightly pedal and I can just keep that speed up. So for me, if you look at it, I'm doing 2.2, 2.1, and I'm 350 watts in. If you look at my picture, I'm not stressed, I'm not breathing hard. And I'm just determined to keep around 350. I'm trying to do that, and I want to call him E. Gerster, but I'm gonna call him E so I don't mess up his last name. Forgive me if you see this and I'm messing up your last name. I'm sorry. So what I decided to do is I'm just gonna ride this with them two, and I figured we were gonna ride like this to the end. And so we ride. I'm not trying to push nobody. I'm just, and the thing is, I'm figuring if I'm leading the pack, just drift off of me, because this one I know, this one I'm not gonna push. I'm not gonna push nobody too hard, and I'm just gonna ride the drift with me and just ride off of me. Don't try to pass me, just ride with me and let me pull you along. That's what I'm thinking everybody's gonna do since I'm out front. But sometimes I think people are learning like I'm learning, and they decide that, well, I'm gonna go ahead and just leave him and get ahead of him. But if you just ride along with me, I'm keeping mostly a steady pace. I'm not trying to gun it. Like I say, I'm not gonna gun this thing until I get to the fifth lap. This wasn't going, and even when I gun it, meaning that I was gonna sustain myself over 400 the whole time for the fourth lap. So only time I really pushed myself up on here, I thought I had put up the metric so that my meter at the bottom, my telling how much I'm pushing out on the race would pop up. I might have did it later on. I think I hit it around the second lap. It should pop up, so it'll show you that I'm not really burning myself out. I'm just kind of riding at an even pace. I got a good pace going. I got a good breathing going. I'm not worried about the finish, because I've seen, as y'all saw on stage 3, when I came around the end on that finish, I know I can really push. So if you're with me on that end, you're going to push with me, because we're going to get going. So I come to my little hills again. I go over this first hump, and I hit the feather. Now, the thing that I had to remember that I forgot, that you hit the feather for me on this, you hit the feather at the beginning of the bottom one. And on the last lap, I hit it right, and you'll notice that it's a total difference. I keep the speed just before I come into this hill, and I keep it, and the feather runs out just before I go under the overpass, so that I can get a new feather, or I think it's a new feather, arrow, or ghost. So when I go up under this, I know I'm gonna get another one, and it gives me another feather. So you'll notice that I hold this feather all the way around the track. I do not let it go, because the feather, I'm taking a chance of not getting one on the next one. So I don't risk it. I just hold on to the feather. The ghosts don't matter to me. I'm not trying to really, I figure on the last one, they give me a ghost, then it'll be different, but the ghost really doesn't matter to me. So as I come around over this hill again, we're on the second lap, same thing, new lap. I just kind of do slight pedals. You see me 250. Sometimes I bring the pedals down to 60 pedals per minute. I'm riding. I'm coasting on these hills. I see him pop up at a ghost. I'm not even thinking about it. I'm not worried about the end of this race. I'm not thinking. The whole race is about me getting comfortable with a pace, becoming relaxed while I'm riding. I'm determined to become a more relaxed rider. So I'm trying to relax myself as I ride. From this next month, it's gonna be more about relaxation and riding, finding a groove and sticking with it. That's my whole point of all of September. It's gonna be about finding a pace, finding a relaxation, and sticking with it. And I come to this conclusion from when I raced. I did a volcano race last Thursday, which I'll post this week, probably Friday. I did a volcano race last Thursday, a volcano flat, which I told you is my race. And when I finished that race up, I came in second because I was trying to do that. I was keeping the lead with everybody. I came in second. But the whole thing is when I looked at my metrics for that race, my heart rate was 138 and my power was like 350, 343 watts. It wasn't that many watts, but I felt so good that I ended up, later on that day, I ended up doing like a 20-mile group ride. And I was like, wow. Okay, it was like a light bulb went off in my head. It was like, wow, okay, cool. Now, if I can, and I was thinking to myself, because that race I kept a pace. So I'm thinking to myself, if I can keep a pace and keep the power, but get better at just having a groove, which I'm seeing, I'm starting to learn from all the YouTubers who do this. Thank all of y'all for being faithful and putting up y'all videos, showing us what to do, how to race. I think all the YouTubers who do Swift, thank to all of y'all, all the pros, all the A's, the B's, all the D's, all of y'all. Thank y'all for doing this because it's starting to teach me. I see why y'all get in a group so you can get with a pace. Now, I didn't do a whole pack with this. I tried to let them follow me. The whole purpose of that was to let them follow me, ride with me as in a pack. I would lead the group. So if you look at me, I'm understating it when I'm saying I'm not killing myself. What I'm trying not to do as I ride this race is not to overexert myself. And I'm really not overexerting myself. In fact, I'm feeling quite at ease. My heart rate is 142. If I told you before, my zone 2, which is the one where you get in to help get you stronger, help run zone 2 so that you could build your endurance, build your power, but not really kill yourself, is from 128 to about 139, 138. And I'm just outside of that on this race, this whole race. I'm not really outside of that too much. I think, like I said, I ended this race, average heart rate was 146, I think it was. So I really wasn't pushing myself too hard. In fact, a lot of times it drops back down because if you look at me, I'm in a groove, I'm comfortable, I'm feeling great. I would post, because just before I did this race, I did a 10-minute hydro row on my rower, and I got my heart rate, that was my warm-up to get my heart going, and then I did that like 15 minutes for this race so I could cool back down and get ready for this race, so I was already warmed up for this race. So as we come around on this one, we're on the 3rd lap, and now I'm just trying to keep myself under 4. I really want to stay under 400 for this lap. These next 2 laps, I'm trying to stay under 400. But since we were riding the group and the guy in front trying to ride, push me, so I just kind of push with him. I'm not trying to push and leave him. If you see me, I'm not really putting a whole bunch in it. I'm just kind of, okay, we're at the hills again, and this is where I put power in. If you see my metrics down the bottom, you see how I'm doing, my meter showing what I'm doing. I don't push hard. I just kind of, okay, let me get up this hill. I put a little wattage in, get the pedals up. I get to the top of the hill. When it hits 9 is where I really start having my drastic slowdown. But since I told you I know Glasgow, I know that when it does hit 9, I come to the top of the hill. Everybody else has to speed up, which I know, but they're lighter so they can get up to the hill, top of the hill. But directly on the other side of the hill is a steep decline, which allows me, since I know that I can put as much power I want to that hill, because I know on the other side I can rest. And even then, I didn't push my heart rate too high. And now I'm coming around on the other side. We're on the 3rd, we're halfway through the race, we're on the 3rd lap. And I come on the other side, and all I do is I slow down. You can see my pedals. When I sit up on the bike, if you ever see me sit up on the bike, I'm actually taking a break. So I sit up on the bike, my heart rate is 148, I give the thumbs out, I give a bum back, and I just slowly pedal. I'm at 200 watts. I'm at 200 some watts putting out, and y'all know my wattage by now. You know when I'm at 500 or when I'm low. So as I come over the Humpty Humps, I know this race like the back of my hand. I think of all the races I've done, I've probably done 100 laps on this race. So it's familiar to me, it's comfortable to me. I don't have to guess where everything's at. So I just keep going. And I just ride this thing out and enjoy my ride. And I got a nice pace. I'm back up under 400 where I want to be. And I just kind of groove with it. I'm not trying to leave nobody. I look down and pretty much everybody's riding with me. So in my head, I'm not really trying to demolish nobody. I'm finding a zone. And I think that's what I'm learning from watching. I religiously watch these videos that people put out because I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to understand this ride. And as I lose the weight, when I get down to 300, I don't want to be trying to figure out how to ride with the Class C's, or how to ride if I'm sneaking into the Class B's, how to ride with Class B's. I don't want to figure that out. I want to have somewhat of a routine when I get there, somewhat of a blueprint of what I need to do to maintain or kind of increase or work on. If I need to add a board here to the building, do I need to add a stabilizer there? I'm trying to learn that more and more. So this race was about just kind of staying where I'm supposed to be. Now, as I come around here on this turn right here, I'm at 88 pedals a minute. I think it's subconsciously for me because I know that little green line coming up and I go, well, I kind of speed up. But then when I realize, okay, cool, I need to calm back down, I bring it back down, and I slow back down, and I just ride. So we're on the 4th lap, and I look down, and E is right behind me. I got E, I'm gonna start with initials, D, and the next one after that was an MG. So I was like, okay, cool, we all just riding. I'm not trying to leave nobody. I'm just in a smooth, and I think I keep setting little pace records for myself. So I come around on this one, and this the 4th lap. I told myself I'm gonna try to keep it on the 400 outside of the double hills, like I'm trying to do consistently with that. And if you look at my picture again, you see me riding, I'm not stressing. In fact, I don't think I really started sweating to that last lap, really going nuts, because I really decided to go ahead on the 4th lap and put in it over 400. So I'm still under 400 on this lap coming around, and I know that once I get to the level hills, I don't know what they're called. Somebody should give me a suggestion on it. I kept looking at E Gaster at the bottom, and I noticed a lot of times he would be at 9.8. He would get up to, I think he even got up to 11 at one point. And I'm looking at him, when I went to the end of the race, I didn't go to Swift Insider, I just decided to go ahead and post this before I leave out to go to work today. So I ran this one this morning, and I'm actually gonna post it, hopefully be up by 7:30, 8 o'clock, because I'm gonna go ahead and post it because I need to get out of here by about 7:30. I gotta go to, actually I saw somebody from Virginia, I'm actually going up to Maryland today. I gotta take a truckload up to Maryland, so I won't be riding Tuesday and Wednesday. Those are all my off days because I'm out of town. But when I come back on Thursday, I will do a Swift cringe. I don't know which one I would do because I don't know what time I usually do one on Thursday. Hopefully I'm here in the morning. I can do one in the morning, then I'm gonna race a double on Friday. Most likely two social races. I try to get as many miles as I can in on that day, some relaxing miles. So I come over the hills again, like I'll keep stating about these Humpty Humps. I see somebody up there, and sometimes when I see people in front of me, even if I'm lapping them, I kind of want to just race them and chase up after them. But with this, I was just like, okay, cool. I'm gonna stay where I'm at. And I look down and I see E Gaster, he's down 4 seconds behind me, but I'm thinking he's right behind me. I see his thing jumps up to, like I said, his thing jumps up to 11, 9, 10, and I'm like, wow, the power he's putting out. That's all I'm thinking to myself, because he catches back up to me, and I'm like, okay, cool, we're fine. And I said, okay, now, like I stated before, the 5th lap for me was gonna be a lap where I went over 400 for the whole lap. It's just something I wanted. I was trying to accelerate myself so that if I'm in a race, I know as the race gets longer, as I move up in classes and I move up with other racers, that as the race comes to an end, they're going to start to accelerate. And I think that's when they start pulling away from people and the pack starts to thin out, and the cream of the crop, or the good riders, I mean y'all guys who really ride this thing, start to pull away. Y'all start to pull away. All y'all women and men, y'all start leaving us. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool, he's with me. I'm hoping that he rides this next lap out with me as hard as I'm riding on this next lap. So I kind of keep going, and I'm looking at him with me. He's staying with me, and I remember he was putting in the power, so I go, okay, cool. So as we come around on this next corner, and like I say, this is still a flat for me. This is not an incline. This whole thing after that double hill is a decline for me. Because look, I'm 34 miles an hour on just a slight decline. I know when you pass this blue Mini, it's one more turn up a hill, and then you on the flat last 2 turns, you got a straight and then you got a left. And that's when you come down onto come across the finish line. So as I come around this, I'm still doing about 330. I'm still under 400. I'm feeling good about it, but the last lap on this one right here, when I hit this hill right here, I kind of give it a little power because I don't want to slow down too much. So I give it a little power to get up this last little hump, and I just kind of back off once I get to the top of it and just kind of just ride on around. And I know that when I get across the finish line on this one, it's all about 400. I must stay above 400, so I try to stay above 400. He did a ghost, which kind of surprised me when I saw him pop up in front of me, but I wasn't out to get him. You see me, I'm just kind of riding. Now, like I say, once I come around this, when I go under the spikes, the whole purpose of this rest of this race is to stay above 400. That was my goal, to stay above 400, which I could do. But I wanted to do it as in stages, so I increase my heart rate slightly. I keep myself pounding a little bit, but I got a steady race going. So as I come around this go under the underpass, I'm determined to stay above 400, and that's what I do now. Now the rest of the race is all about staying above 400. So we're riding, I'm riding, and I'm just staying above 400, and I'm thinking he's gonna grind. I look down and I see he's 1 second behind me, so I'm thinking he's gonna grind with me too. So I'm just staying above 400. I'm not trying to go crazy. The whole purpose is to stay above 400 on this last lap. And then when I get to the sprint, to see if I can get to 1200 watts. So that's what's going on now. This is to stay above 400 so that I can get my body used to putting this out. And then at the end, is to open it up on that sprint. I'm gonna start the sprint just before, right as the numbers kick in, and the goal is to keep myself to the point where I'm crossing the line at 1,000 watts. My goal is to cross the line at 1,000 watts. So if you look at the numbers, I'm 450, 460, and I'm just staying there. And if you look at me, I'm still relaxed. I'm in a groove. I'm in a real groove with myself. In fact, some of it, like you even see now, I'm hitting 500. My goal is to stay over 400, but I'm hitting 500 on some of this, and that's just me just getting in a groove, relaxing, and forgetting about it, looking up, and I'm just racing. Sometimes the rest of the race is out of sight, out of mind. I'm just riding sometimes, and I'm just getting to the point where I'm feeling great. I'm moving good, and I think we're going to come up on the hills again. And when I get to the lumpy lumps, I hit the meter right at the bottom. I hit the feather right at the bottom. If you notice, bam, I'm gonna hit the feather, bam. That's where I'm supposed to hit it at. And I remembered that when I got to it. So now I get to sustain that speed as I got it, and I get to build up momentum before I hit the second one. And now I'm finna nail it. I think I end up bringing it up to 600. I nailed it coming up with this next one. So I was like, okay, you know, I got it coming down on the end. I hadn't even looked back down, but when I looked back down the E, I noticed that I got 12 seconds on it, and I didn't realize I had done that. My whole goal was just to stay over 400. I was thinking he was right on my back. I was not looking at that. So when I looked down, I go, wow, I got 11 seconds. I didn't realize I was doing that. Because I'm thinking I hadn't increased that much. I'm not stressing myself as much, but I have to stay over my goal was to stay over 400. So as I come around this corner here, I'm just riding with a decent pace. I stand up off the wheels. I give myself a half a break. I slowly start back pedaling it in. Now it's all about getting it back up to 400, but I don't want to really kill myself coming around, since this is a decline for me. So what I try to do is just keep my speed up on coming up around the little lump, so cause that's when it falls off a little bit. If you notice, I hit that hill at about 32. By the time I got to the top of that little hill, I was down to 22. That's how much my weight plays a factor on steady hills and shorter races. So my thing is always to get longer races in. I'm gonna be doing longer. And in fact, I will post. I'm gonna try to do some shorts so I can post where I'm gonna race next, because I kind of get an idea the day before. But for the most part, I do the Royal Race on Mondays at 5 o'clock, and I do whatever one comes up at 5 o'clock, and I do the Swift Insiders 5 o'clock Saturday morning. So you will always see me at those two. So as I come around this, I'm at almost half a mile left in this race. I'm at 30 miles an hour. I look down, I'm 17 seconds ahead, and I'm still amazed at this guys. When I look down and I see that thing goes to red, I'm amazed at how much power he's putting out. I'm like, wow. So as I pass the blue car, I know it's one more hill coming. So once I come around that hill, I'm gonna be all out on a sprint. When I come around, I'm gonna go over that hill, I'm gonna make that left, and once I see the thing hits 1,000 feet, I'm gonna go all out sprint. So I hit the feather, since there's no sense in holding the feather anymore, just the last little humpy hump. So I go over it, I look down, and I got about 16 seconds on the next guy. I was never trying to just push this thing. If I wanted to push, I would have pushed it at the beginning and just kept going. So I get down, I see the guys turn the corner. I'm not chasing anyone. All I'm doing is trying to build myself up on this race. So when I get to this end, I make this turn, and I think right at the beginning when you get across the line, there it is, 1,000. and I go ahead and kick it in 700, I'm in. I kicked it in right at around 750, 800. I kicked it in, and my goal is to maintain 1,000 crossing the line. So I'm trying to get to 1,000 and hold it all the way through the finish line. And you can see I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm looking at it. Hold it. Oh, I got there. It was worth it. I was doing it. So thank y'all for watching these races. Please, I love the comments. I really do love the comments. Please leave me more comments. Thank you. Have a great day. I will post this soon. See y'all on the next one.